I am RC Robbin. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps. So this is a created franchise on MLB The Show 20 for PlayStation 4. The goal originally was to play a 162 game created franchise from beginning to end. No skipped innings, no simulated games, every single game on YouTube in its entirety, and I've done that. So of course, after the regular season comes the postseason. The Bronx Knights, affectionately called, thrown into the American League West Division, won the division by winning 107 games and losing only 55. They squeaked past the Minnesota Twins in the division round. Then they beat the Tampa Bay Rays in 6 games to advance to the World Series to face the Colorado Rockies. So here we are. The Rockies are down 0-3. This is an elimination game for them. This is Game 4 of the World Series. As you can see on the screen, the playoff bracket, BXK refers to the Bronx Knights in red, 3. COL refers to the Colorado Rockies, nothing, 3-0. So let's jump in and get Game 4 under the way. This might be the last game of this created franchise today. Let's see what happens. So Game 1 at Yankee Stadium and Game 2 at Yankee Stadium, Bronx Knights won 6-4 and then 3-2 in 11 innings. Then they moved it to Coors Field in Colorado. Bronx Knights won a thriller 6-3. So here we are, Game 4, Patrick Joseph facing John Gray. Let's rock and roll. Few organizations games. This is the only game on the schedule. Play the game. Proceeding as we simulated, okay. Play full game. We are the away team at Coors Field. Here's Coors Field. Broadcast. Patrick Joseph is the starting pitcher. And here we go. Let's rock and roll. Again, if you're seeing this for the first time, if this is the first time you've seen Bronx Knights baseball, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Here are your starting lineups. Game 4 of the World Series, Knights versus Rockies, starting now. Welcome, baseball fans, to Coors Field as the Colorado Rockies host the Bronx Knights for Game 4 of the World Series. Knights lead the series 3-0. On the mound for the Rockies, John Gray making his 3rd playoff start. He is 1-0 with a 4.26 earned run average. And leading off for the Bronx Knights is Mighty Max Lukulich, the center fielder. He's hitting .286 with 5 runs batted in for the postseason. First pitch of the ball game. In there, strike 1. First pitch 7:07 p.m. here on the East Coast. Max Lukulich hit .308 during the regular season. Scored 118 times. Outside corner, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes on Lukulich. He was the American League's center fielder in the All-Star game and won a Gold Glove. And it's a ground ball to the second baseman. Fields fires, and there is 1 out here in the top of the first. Starting lineup in Game 4 for the Bronx Knights. Max Lukulich is in center. Don Mattingly is at first. Chris Ramos is at second. Michael O'Rourke's in left. Jacob Salazar is the shortstop. Matt Saps is your DH. Francisco Lindor is in right field. Batting 8th is Anthony Millo catching, and the 9th hitter is Matt Termini at third base. Next up is Don Mattingly hitting .250 in the postseason. Takes at the knees for strike 1. He has a homer and 5 RBIs. Don Mattingly is the 1985 American League most valuable player in baseball for the New York Yankees. Inside corner, strike 2. Count is quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Donnie hit 26 homers and 112 runs batted in during the regular season. Just gets a piece of the 2-seam fastball. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Mattingly. And he grounds it up the third base line. It is a foul ball. And the inning will continue. 1 out here in the top of the first. No score here at Coors Field for Game 4 of the World Series. Inside off the plate, count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a line drive, base hit towards the left center field gap, and it will roll all the way to the warning track. He rounds first and heads to second. It is a 1-out double for Don Mattingly, and the Bronx Knights have a runner in scoring position here in the first inning. Here's the replay. Line drive the other way over the head of the shortstop. Next up is the reigning American League's most valuable player, Chris Ramos, second baseman, hitting .327, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in. He was 4 for 5 in yesterday's game. And this one is popped up, heading into foul territory. It is in the dugout for strike 1. Chris Ramos hit .361 during the regular season, 66 homers, 169 runs batted in. Runner at second. And it is a flare to left. There is Juan Soto. He makes the catch for out number 2. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Outlander. This is Game 4 of the World Series, brought to you by the Outlander Show. Next up is Michael O'Rourke, hitting .314 in the postseason, a homer, 8 runs batted in. Don Mattingly is at second base in scoring position here in the top of the first. No score in Game 4 of the World Series. Ground ball to the first baseman, fielded, steps on the bag, and the side is retired. So, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. The end of a half inning of play here in Game 4 of the World Series. Bronx Knights nothing, Colorado coming to bat. On the mound for the Bronx Knights is Patrick Joseph. He was 13-11 during the regular season. He has 1 start during this postseason, no record, 4.76 earned run average. And leading off for the Colorado Rockies is Mookie Betts, hitting .170. No homers, 2 RBIs. He's 8 for 47 during this postseason run. First pitch from Joseph. And it's a deep drive, foul, strike 1. Mookie had 30 home runs in 143 ball games during the regular season.
Nope, that's a ball.
Just misses with the slider outside. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike, and he would love to know where that pitch was. He thought it was strike 2. And he pulls the changeup foul down the left field line. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Betts. Mookie Betts was a Boston Red Sox and is now a Los Angeles Dodger in real life. Slow roller, long run from the shortstop position, throws across his body. Great play by the second baseman, Chris Ramos. They had him shifted to pull. Starting lineup for the Rockies here in Game 4. Mookie Betts is in right field. Ryan Klesko is at first. Willie Mays is the center fielder. Juan Soto in left to Javier Baez at short. Nate Lowe is your designated hitter. Manny Machado's at third. Craig Biggio is at second. And batting ninth and playing catcher is Carson Kelly. So up next is Ryan Klesko, hitting .313. He has 3 homers and 7 runs batted in during this postseason. Takes a pitch in there, strike 1. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Ryan Klesko, the first baseman. And that's a deep drive, but it will curl out of play, a foul ball. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Up the first base line. The at-bat will continue. Count remains 0-2. Late on the fastball. And Klesko is battling. I was able to pre-download MLB 21. It still has like a 6 days, though. Yeah, well, I mean, you know my story. I'm going to hold off on that until I can get my hands on a PS5. But I will definitely watch your MLB The Show 21 streams. I'm looking forward to it. Curveball fouled off. Count remains no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. No score here in Game 4 of the World Series. Knights versus Rockies. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Struck him out swinging. There's 2 away. Postseason bracket. As you can see, the Colorado Rockies defeated the New York Mets in 5 games in the National League Championship Series, as the Bronx Knights beat the Tampa Bay Rays in 6. So here we are. Game 4 of the World Series. Bronx Knights have a 3-0 lead in the best of 7. Never been done in my gaming history of full 62, 162. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Up next is Willie Mays. You can do it. First pitch to Mays. Outside corner, strike 195 on the fastball. Willie Mays was a San Francisco Giant in the, I believe, 1950s and 60s, Hall of Famer. Breaking ball high, count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Ed Drummond is the man calling balls and strikes. I don't know if he's a real person, I just hope that he does a decent job. Count is even at 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away, pitch to Willie. That's a line drive right at Salazar. It's short to retire the side. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Patrick Joseph. At the end of 1 inning of play here in Game 4 of the World Series, we have no score. So we go to the top of the 2nd inning. Up steps the shortstop, Jacob Salazar. He's hitting .291, no homers, and 7 runs batted in during this postseason. Slider in there from John Gray. That's a strike 1. Salazar's a switch hitter, batting from the left side against the righty Gray. Outside, count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Chases a high fastball. The count will even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Salazar had 17 home runs and 100 RBIs during the regular season. Outside, count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The DH Matt Saps is on deck. So 3-2, nobody out. Bases empty here for Salazar. Here's the payoff pitch. And he pulls it, but it looks like Betts will make an over-the-shoulder running catch for the first out of the inning. Defensive alignment for the Colorado Rockies in the outfield from left to right. Juan Soto, Willie Mays, Mookie Betts. And in the infield, we have Machado, Baez, Biggio, Ryan Klesko at first, with Carson Kelly behind home plate. So with 1 out, up steps Matthew Saps. Natural second baseman, hitting .320, 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. And he hits a line drive towards the left field, but again, an over-the-shoulder catch at the warning track, this time by Juan Soto in left. And there are 2 quick outs here in the top of the 2nd inning. Hit it right on the nose, but didn't quite get it high enough. Here's the replay. So next up is the right fielder, Francisco Lindor. He's hitting .433 in this postseason. A homer, 9 runs batted in. He is the injury replacement for the right fielder, Benny Locicero, who drove in 128 runs during the regular season. Pitch it in there, strike 1. No, check that. It's actually called a ball by the home plate umpire. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. That's a ground ball in the hole. Jump throw by the shortstop. Javier Baez gets him. Brilliant play to retire the side. So after an inning and a half here in Game 4 of the World Series, there's no score at Coors Field. So we go to the bottom of this 2nd inning. Up steps the left fielder Juan Soto. .319, 4 homers, 10 runs batted in. Patrick Joseph sets and delivers. Checks his swing, but it's in there, strike 1. Juan Soto, 4.9 wins above replacement. That is a new baseball statistic. Basically, the higher that number, the better. It's hard to explain. It's a cumulative number that in there, strike 2, count as quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. Basically means that if you compare Juan Soto, an outfielder, to an average major league outfielder. Having Juan Soto in your lineup represents 4.9 more wins than the average fielder. It's hard to explain, but it's a decent stat. He pops it up. Only man on the left side of the infield is Matt Termini. Makes the catch in short left field for the first out here in the top, check it, bottom of the second. Defensive alignment for the Bronx Knights in the outfield from left to right is Mike O'Rourke, Max Lukulich, and Francisco Lindor. And in the infield is Matt Termini, Jacob Salazar, Chris Ramos, Don Mattingly with Anthony Millo behind home plate. 2 Gold Glove winners in the field. Max Lukulich in center and Don Mattingly at first. Javier Baez steps up to the plate. Takes a strike, 95 on the radar gun. Javier's hitting only a $167, but he does have 9 runs batted in during the run. Breaking ball low, count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. During the regular season, however, Javier Baez drove in 126 runs. So he was productive at the shortstop position for the Colorado Rockies. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike on Baez. Ground ball to Termini, routine play. Throws to first, and there's 2 away. Next up is the DH Nate Lowe, hitting .326, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in, left-handed hitter. Up there with 2 away and bases empty. Fouls it behind home plate for strike number 1. Misses inside for ball 1, count even in 1 ball and 1 strike. For those that don't know, in this created franchise season, I hit, I pitch, I field. I do not run the bases. I let the computer, the PlayStation, control the running of the bases. Every game is on all-star difficulty level for hitting and pitching. Options, gameplay. Hitting difficulty is on all-star. Pitching difficulty, as you can see, is also on all-star. Okay? Just for accountability's sake, I show it like once a game. So, no score here in the bottom of the second. 2 away. Bases empty to Nate Lowe. Here comes the pitch from Patrick Joseph. He grounds it up the first base line. It is a foul ball. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. In there, breaking ball. Caught him looking. Side is retired after 2 innings of play here in Game 4 of the World Series. Still no score here at Coors Field. So we'll go to the top of the third. Up steps the number 8 hitter, the catcher, Anthony Millo, who has hit well in the postseason. He's hitting .311, 2 homers. He has 11 runs batted in. He had a terrible first half of the regular season. In there with the 2-seam fastball, strike 1. He picked it up a little bit in the second half. That ended up with 16 homers on the season. Outside, count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. But Millo has become a different hitter here in the postseason. He's come up with some clutch hits. And he yanks it down the left field line into the stands for strike 2. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just gets a piece and cues it up the first base line in the inning, and the at-bat will continue. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Millo. Misses with the fastball, 97 on the radar gun. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And he yanks the slider down the left field line, out of play, and the at-bat will continue. Again, just gets a piece of the breaking ball. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the third. Checks his swing, but it finds the strike zone. Hits the corner for out number 1. Caught him looking. First strikeout of the game for Gray. Let's look at this. You could argue that it's not in the strike zone, but it's too close to take with 2 strikes. You got to swing the bat. Next up is the third baseman, Matt Termini, hitting .224 for the postseason. And he hits a ground ball to the second baseman. Biggio fields, fires, and there are 2 outs here in the top of the third. Bronx Knights lead this series 3 games to none. They win today, they are the World Series champions. In order to become the World Series champions, the Colorado Rockies have to win 4 straight ball games. Next up with 2 away is Max Lukulich, the leadoff hitter. His second appearance at the plate this game. He's 0 for 1. And it is a one-hopper to Bob Baez. Throws scooped out of the dirt by Ryan Klesko. 1-2-3 inning for Gray. The end of 2.5. Still no score. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Up steps the third baseman, Manny Machado. .214 average, but he has 4 homers and 9 runs batted in during the playoffs. Here comes the pitch from Joseph. Just gets a piece of the fastball, strike 1. So as you can see, his career WAR is 41. 41 wins above replacement. So every season that you get a WAR score, they compile on top of each other so that you get an entire WAR score for your career. The higher, the better. Second pitch is in there. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Machado. And that's a line drive headed towards the right center field gap. And it will roll all the way to the wall. Lukulich grabs it at the warning track. And before he heads back into the infield, it'll be a stand-up double to lead off the bottom of the 3rd for Machado. They have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Here's the replay. He just splits the center fielder and right fielder here in the 3rd inning. So, next up is Craig Biggio, Hall of Famer who played for the Houston Astros in real life. He's hitting a .167 in the playoffs. 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. Single will open up the scoreboard. And he's late on the fastball. Hits it foul up the first base line, strike 1. And he chases the high breaking ball. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Biggio. In real life, Biggio was a 3,000 hit club member. Misses inside with the fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Patrick Joseph had 13 wins during the regular season. Does not have a win in the postseason. This is his 2nd postseason start. Pitched in the division series at a no decision. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Biggio cannot believe the call. That's strikeout number 3. That looked low. But regardless, there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. Up steps the number 9 hitter, the catcher, Carson Kelly, who's 4 for 40 in the postseason. That's a 100 average. So runner at second in scoring position, 1 away. No score here in Game 4 of the World Series. And he lines it foul into the seats for strike 1. Welcome to Bronx Knights Baseball. This is Game 4 of the World Series. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining me. And he fouls it upstairs behind home plate, and the count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes to Kelly. Runner leads off second. 0-2 count. And it is a fly ball towards the left field line. O'Rourke is there. He makes the catch for out number 2. So with 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd, the lineup turns over for the Rockies. It's Mookie Betts who grounded out in his first at-bat. I don't know what that creature is. I guess it's a dinosaur. Congratulations, Colorado. Anyway, runner at second, in scoring position, 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch from Joseph. Ground ball towards the shortstop. Salazar throws to first in time, scooped nicely by Don Mattingly at first, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on at the end of 3 here in Game 4 of the World Series. No score here at Coors Field. So we go to the top of the 4th. Up steps Mattingly. He was 1 for 1, hit a single in his first at-bat. Pitch is low for ball 1. So Don Mattingly was a batting champion in 1984. He won an MVP in 1985. All-Star, not a Hall of Famer. fouls this next pitch upstairs, 98 on the radar gun. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. He had a back injury in the early 1990s, which derailed his career. Might have been a Hall of Famer if not for that. And he yanks the slider down the right field line. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Mattingly. Outside corner, he catches him looking, and that's the first out here in the top of the 4th. John Gray's second strikeout of the game. So next up is the second baseman, Chris Ramos. He's 8 for 15 in the World Series. He's 0 for 1 today. Pitches low, ball 1. He is the reigning American League most valuable player. He had 66 home runs during the regular season. And that is a line drive slicing to left, over-the-shoulder catch by Juan Soto, and there are 2 away here in the top of the 4th. Next up is the left fielder Michael O'Rourke, grounded out in the 1st. He's hitting .308 in the postseason. He had 38 homers during the regular season. And he's late on the breaking ball, strike 1. 2 down, bases empty. No score here in Game 4 of the World Series. And it is a ground ball backhanded by Biggio. Throws to first. It's a quick inning for John Gray. So after 3.5, no score here in Coors Field. This is Game 4 of the World Series. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Up steps Ryan Klesko, the first baseman. He struck out in his first at-bat. And he pulls the fastball foul for strike 1. Ryan has 2 homers in his last 5 playoff games. Swing and a miss over the curveball. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Way out in front. Must have been expecting a fastball. And again, he misses the changeup this time. That's swing and a miss for the first out of the inning. That's strikeout number 4 for Joseph. Here's the replay. Terrible angle for a replay. Should be over the shoulder of the pitcher so you can see the location of the pitch, but oh, here we go. That's the correct replay angle. So with 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th, up steps Willie Mays. Lined out in the 1st, he has 3 homers and 6 runs batted in during the playoffs. Fouls it back behind home plate for strike 1. Willie Mays, if I'm not mistaken, in real life had 660 home runs in his major league career. And he fouls it again upstairs behind home plate. The count is 0-2 on Mays. And that's a line drive, base hit to center field. It's a 2-out single for Mays. No, check that. It's a 1-out single. Pardon me. Here in the bottom of the 4th, they have a runner at first. Here's the replay. So next up is Juan Soto. Popped out in second. He's 3 for 13 in the World Series. Here comes the pitch from Joseph. In there, strike 1 with the fastball. Runner at first, 1 down. Swing and a miss in front of the curveball. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Runner leads off first. Grounds it. 5, 4, 3. Double play. Side retired. Round the horn double play. Nice job by the defense in the infield. So after 4 innings of baseball, it's Termini to Ramos. Over to Mattingly to retire the side. End of 4. No score here in Coors Field. So we go to the top of the 5th. The shortstop Jacob Salazar is 0 for 1. Switch hitter steps up from the left side against the righty John Gray. Just gets a piece of the fastball, strike 1. Pitch is outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, to set the stage, if the Bronx Knights win Game 4, they are the World Series champions. However, the Colorado Rockies have to win 4 straight in order to get that title. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch was low. Hitters count 3 balls and 1 strike to Salazar. Saps is on deck. And that's a line drive, but right at Biggio at second for the first out of the inning. You can't steer the ball. You can only hit it hard. So Matt Saps, the DH today, lined out in the second. He's hitting .314 for the postseason. During the regular season, he had 33 homers and 109 runs batted in. First pitch to him is inside, ball 1. And that's a deep drive to center field. Back goes. Looking up, that ball is gonzo. That's a solo home run for Matthew Saps, his first of the World Series. And now the Bronx Knights, here in Game 4 of the World Series, have a 1-0 lead here in the top of the 5th inning. You can hear the shock just come over the crowd in waves. Let's watch this replay. Dead center field. He had 33 homers during the regular season and now 1 in the World Series. Projected 451 feet. So next up is Francisco Lindor, right fielder, who's 0 for 1. He's hitting .419 in the playoffs. Pitch is low, ball 1. So it's a 1-0 lead for the Bronx Knights here in Game 4. Base is empty, 1 away. Hard ground ball, base hit up the middle. It's a 1-out single for Lindor. Leg kick, one-handed swing, just a hard ground ball with eyes. So next up is the catcher, Anthony Millo, struck out in the 3rd inning. Checks his swing, pitches inside off the plate, ball 1. Checks the swing, pitches outside, 2 balls and no strikes. In his last 7 games, Anthony Millo's 10 for 27. That's a .370 clip. Outside corner, strike 1 count is 2 balls and 1 strike. He hit .258 during the regular season. He's hitting .370 in his last handful of games. He is on fire. Quick throw to first. Lindor is back. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner at first, top of the 5th. 1-0 lead for the Knights. Way out in front of the slider, and the count evens at 2-2. And it is a hit and run. They stayed out of the double play. Javier Baez throws to first. So Lindor is at second in scoring position with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Up next is the 3rd baseman, Matt Termini. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out. An important insurance run at second base. And he lines it, but right at Mookie Betts and right to retire the side. But they get a run on the solo home run by Matthew Saps. After 4.5 innings of play here in Game 4 of the World Series, Bronx Knights lead 1-0. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. We're going to go to the dugout to our sideline reporter, Heidi Watney, and we apologize, Heidi. There seems to be something wrong with your microphone. We're going to send a technician down there to take care of that. But in the meantime, we will return to the plate. Stepping up in the bottom of the 5th is the shortstop, Javier Baez, to lead off. Pitch from Patrick Joseph. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Swings at the curveball outside and misses. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes to Baez. Baez is the cover boy of the game, MLB The Show 20. The new cover boy is going to be Fernando Tatis Jr. That's a line drive, just foul. Almost had himself a double, but instead it is a foul ball. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Javier. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. And that's, strike him out looking, that's the first out here in the 5th. That's strikeout number 5 for Joseph. Let's see if it was a strike. Too close to take. You have to put a bat on that. So 1 down here in the 5th, and up steps the DH, Nate Lowe, who struck out in the 2nd inning. And he slices it out of play for strike 1. Welcome to Bronx Knights Baseball. I am RC Robbin. Thank you for joining me. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. This is a 162 plus created franchise on MLB The Show 20 for PlayStation 4. Glad to have you here. That pitch was fouled off. The count is no balls and 2 strikes on Lowe. And it's a pop-up. They had him shifted over. Long run for O'Rourke. He runs it down for the 2nd out of the inning. They had the infield and outfield shifted to pull over to the right field. So long run for O'Rourke, but he made it there. 2 away, up steps Manny Machado, who doubled in the 3rd. This is his 2nd plate appearance. 2 outs, bases empty. 1-0 lead for the Knights. Strike 1 at the knees. Ground ball to the 2nd baseman. Ramos fields, fires, and the side is retired. So, it's an official ball game. 5 innings complete. Here in Game 4 of the World Series, Bronx Knights lead 1-0. So we go to the top of the 6th. Up steps the leadoff hitter, Max Lukulich. He's 0 for 2. Grounded out twice in today's game. That's a ground ball headed up the middle and through. Diving attempt by Biggio, but he will not get it there. It's a leadoff single for Lukulich. Now, Lukulich has 39 stolen bases during the regular season. So him at first base should cause trouble for John Gray. Big leg kick. So next up is Mattingly. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th. He had a double in the 1st. He's 1 for 2. Pitches low. Ball 1. He's hitting .258 for the postseason. And that's a hard line drive headed towards the right center field gap, and it will go all the way to the wall. Lukulich is off to the races. He rounds 2nd, heads to 3rd. Rounds goes home. Oh no, Mattingly's caught off base. It is an RBI double, but a base running mistake catches Mattingly off 2nd. So there's 1 out and the bases are empty, but it's a 2-0 lead for the Knights. Up steps Chris Ramos. He is 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts today. He's just swung and fouled off a pitch for the 1st strike. So, seems like a wasted opportunity. They would have had a runner at scoring position with nobody out, but instead, it's bases empty and 1 out. The count is 0-2 on Chris Ramos. And he yanks it foul down the first base line. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. The score is 2-0 Bronx Knights here in Game 4 of the World Series. And he pops him up. Jammed him in on his hands. Machado is there. Makes the catch, and there are 2 away. So next up, with 2 away, is Michael O'Rourke. He's 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts. Right fielder. Check that, the left fielder. Pardon me. And he's slicing it towards left. His counterpart is making a long run. He will not get there. And he'll stop at 2nd. It's a 2-out double for O'Rourke. I think that Soto misplayed that ball. I think he could have caught this. This ball was misjudged. He lost it in the lights or something because that fell behind him. So the inning will continue. Since he didn't come in contact with the ball, they won't call it an error. So it will be a double for O'Rourke. Runner in scoring position with 2 down for Salazar, who's 0 for 2. And that ball is hit high. It is far. It is off the wall. It's going to be an RBI double for Salazar, and the score is now 3-0 Bronx Knights here in Game 4 of the World Series. That's a clutch 2-out hit from the shortstop. I thought it was gone, but then you could see from the body language from Mookie Betts in right field that he was looking to catch it off the wall. So the manager here in this do-or-die game for the Rockies is calling the bullpen. Can't wait any longer for Gray. Takes the ball, asks for the right-hander out of the bullpen. And in relief comes Jim Palmer. So Jim Palmer's in the bullpen for the Colorado Rockies. In real life, he was a Hall of Fame starter for the Baltimore Orioles. Up steps Matthew Saps, who in his previous at-bat in the 5th inning gave the Bronx Knights a 1-0 lead on a 450-foot home run to dead center field. Got lost in the bushes. So, runner in scoring position, 2 away, 3-0 lead for the Knights. Here comes the pitch, and he yanks it foul up the third base line for strike 1. Matt Saps had 33 homers and 109 runs batted in during the regular season. And this time it is a shallow fly ball to center field. There is Mays to retire the side, but after 5.5 innings of play, they plate 2 more runs. In Game 4 here at Coors Field of the World Series, the Bronx Knights lead 3-0. So leading off the bottom of the 6th, Craig Biggio, he struck out in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. Batting 163 in the postseason. At the knees, strike 1, 96 on the radar gun. Ground ball to the first baseman, Mattingly scoops it, takes it to the bag himself, and there is 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Next up is Carson Kelly, the catcher. Flew out in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. Here comes the pitch from Patrick. Outside corner, strike 1. Kelly was 0 for 3 with a strikeout in yesterday's game, in Game 3 of the World Series. He's 0 for 1 today. Ground ball to the shortstop. Routine play for Salazar, and there's 2 away. So the lineup turns over for the Colorado Rockies. Mookie Betts is 0 for 2. This is his 3rd plate appearance. 2 down, bases empty, 3-0 lead for the Knights. And that ball is high. It is far back to the track, the wall, looking up. He does not make the catch. It is a solo home run for Mookie Betts here in the 6th. And it's a 3-1 lead for the Knights. O'Rourke goes back to the track. The wall measures it, makes a leap, but cannot reach it. So it's a 2-run lead for the Knights. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Ryan Klesko is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Comes the pitch from Patrick Joseph. And that is a fly ball the other way. This one O'Rourke can handle, and the side is retired. So the solo home run by Mookie Betts puts them on the board at the end of 6 innings of play here in Game 4 of the World Series. Bronx Knights lead 3-1. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. Up steps Francisco Lindor. Jim Palmer is out there. Lindor's a switch hitter, batting from the left side against the righty Palmer. Backs him off the plate for ball 1. Lindor is 1 for 2 in today's ballgame. And that ball is hit high down the right field line. This goes back to the track, looking up at the warning track with his back to the wall. He makes the catch for out number 1.
The batter, number 43.
Just hit it a little too high. So next up is Anthony Millo. Anthony's 0 for 2 today. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. In the dirt, ball 1. And that's a line drive to the right field, but Betts makes a shoestring catch for the 2nd out. 2 quick outs for Jim Palmer. So the number 9 hitter, the 3rd baseman, Matt Termini, is 0 for 2. Steps up. Base is empty. pitches outside, ball 1. I'm going to go to the bullpen. Manager, bullpen, and warm up some guys. So it will be the bottom of the 7th. So I'm going to warm up Caleb Smith, and I'm going to warm up Zach Eflin just in case things get out of control. So again, it's 2 outs, 1-0 count on Termini. Checks his swing, pitches inside, count is 2 balls and no strikes. It's a 3-1 lead for the Knights here in Game 4 of the World Series. 3 balls and no strikes. Will he have the green light on 3-0? No, he will not, because they do not swing on 3 balls and no strikes. And it's a ball 4, so he walks. So a 2-out walk, and the inning will continue for the Knights here in the top of the 7th. Leadoff man Max Lukulich has a single and a run scored today. He's 1 for 3. He's hitting .288 in the postseason. And that is a 1-hopper. Shovels it over for the force, and the side is retired. Get up and stretch, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the 7th inning stretch here at Coors Field. Game 4 of the World Series. If the Bronx Knights win, they win the championship. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Up steps the center fielder Willie Mays, who had a single in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Joseph is still out there. Here comes the pitch. On the outside corner, strike 1. Strike 2. Misses with the slider, tried to get him to chase. He did not. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes on Mays. Inside corner, strike 3. Struck him out looking. That's strikeout number 6 for Joseph. Patrick Joseph is pitching the best game of his life in the biggest spotlight. This is Game 4 of the World Series. He was 13-11 during the regular season. His ERA was in the 6s. And he's come out here and he's doing the job. So, up next is Juan Soto. He's 0 for 2. In there, strike 195 on the radar gun. Juan is 0 for 2 in today's game. Misses with the slider outside. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Grounder up the middle. Salazar throws to first in time. 2 away. Nice play. He's behind the second base bag. Threw across his body. Charged. Nice play. So 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. And up steps Javier Baez, who's 0 for 2. He's hitting 159 in the postseason. Ground ball up the middle and through. It is a 2-out single, and the tying run will come to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th for the Colorado Rockies. Just a ground ball up the middle. I'm sure Patrick Joseph will love to get his glove on that. Next up is Nate Lowe, 0 for 2. And that will be all. We're going to the bullpen. We're bringing in Caleb Smith. Mattingly, the 50-year-old version of Don Mattingly, is the manager of the Bronx Knights. He makes the call for the left-hander out of the bullpen. Takes the ball from Joseph. He's responsible for the runner at first. He cannot lose. He can either win or get a no decision, depending on the outcome. In relief comes Caleb Smith. This is his 4th appearance out of the bullpen. He's pitched 2 innings. He has not given up an earned run. Left-handed hitter versus lefty pitcher. Nate Lowe versus Caleb Smith. And he yanks the fastball foul down the right field line, strike 1. Nate Lowe is the tying run. Checks his swing, pitches inside, count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. And it's a flare, but Salazar makes the catch to retire the side in short center field. So at the end of 7 innings of play, they strand the runner. It's the Bronx Knights 3, Colorado Rockies 1. here in Game 4 of the World Series. Top of the 8th, Don Mattingly's 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and an RBI today. And before we go, we're going to go back to the bullpen because right now the bullpen is very important.
Mattingly.
Carlos Estevez is going to come out and pitch. Carlos Estevez is pitching the 8th, the bottom of the 8th. Don Mattingly leads off the top of the 8th. Ground ball to his counterpart at first, takes it himself. And that's the first out. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the top of the 8th. Ooh, score's looking pretty good. Yes, it is Wicked Quixotic. You've been there the whole way. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Game 4 of the World Series. The Knights are up 3-0. Chris Ramos is 0 for 3 today. Pitch is in there, strike 1.
0-1 for count.
He was 4 for 5 in yesterday's ball game. Slider finds the back door to the strike zone. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Ramos. And he pulls the changeup foul down the right field line. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes on the reigning MVP. Down and in, ball 1. 1 out, bases empty. 3-1 lead for the Bronx Knights here in Game 4. Outside, count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that's a line drive, but it will hang up there for Willie Mays, and that's the 2nd out here in the top of the 8th. And Ramos is 0 for 4 today. So with 2 outs, up steps Michael O'Rourke. He has a double today. He's 1 for 3. Pitch from Jim Palmer. Slider in there, strike 1. I'm kind of broken. I want you to win and get a sweep, but at the same time, when I'm at work tonight, I won't have nothing to listen to. Well, I would like to put this this series to bed, honestly. So, although I would love for you to have something to listen to at work, I want to put it to bed. So the count is at no balls and 2 strikes on O'Rourke. And he lines it, but right at Machado at 3rd, and the side is retired. We will go to the bottom of the 8th. 6 outs left. 6 outs left for the Knights. Can they win their championship in this created franchise season? So, do you want to change pitchers? Patrick Joseph, you've done a phenomenal job, but it's time. Carlos Estevez is making his 7th appearance out of the bullpen. He's pitched in just over 9 innings. His ERA is 1.93. Let's go Rockies, LOL, you're funny. Leading off is Manny Machado. He's 1 for 2. He had a double in the 3rd inning. And he hits it line drive down the 3rd base line, out of play, strike 1. Machado versus Estevez in this fictional universe. He's done quite well, 11 for 30. Fouls off the slider. Count is quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Machado. And now I'm going to go to the bullpen and get John Smoltz warming up, because I'll bring him in for a 4 or even a 5-out save. I don't care. It's too important. 99-mile-an-hour fastball fouled back home behind home plate. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Manny Machado. Comes the pitch. Slider outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss out in front of the changeup. That's strikeout number 1 for Estevez, and the 1st out here in the bottom of the 8th. Any plans to play anything else after you're done with this? I'm going to put the Bronx Knights to bed for a while. I'll have a longer explanation after the game is over. I'm going to continue, obviously, streaming video games, but for now, it'll be the off-season for the Bronx Knights. I'll explain further at the end of the game. Up next with 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th is Craig Biggio. He is 0 for 2. And he fouls back the 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Triple digits on the radar gun. Strike 1. Biggio is hitting 159 this postseason. If the Colorado Rockies lose this game 4, swing and a miss, strike 2. If they lose this series in general, a lot of the Rockies are going to have to look themselves in the mirror and ask what more could they have done to change the outcome. Because there's a lot of sub-200 batting averages in this lineup for the postseason. Count is 0-2 on Craig Biggio. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 100 miles an hour, and there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. 4 outs remaining for the Bronx Knights. 4 outs. Next up is Carson Kelly. He is 0 for 2. He's batting .095 in the postseason. Outside corner, strike 1. Out in front of the slider, strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikes out the side. We go to the top of the 9th. It's a 2-run lead for the Bronx Knights. They have 3 more outs. 3 more outs. This is game 4 of the World Series. Knights versus Rockies. So we go to the top of the 9th. Jacob Salazar is 1 for 3 with a double. We're going back to the bullpen. As great as he pitched, Jesse Biddle, I'm going to sit you down. John Smoltz, I'm scheduling. John Smoltz is pitching the 9th. So the first pitch from Palmer here in the top of the 9th. Pitch is outside, ball 1. It's a 3-1 advantage for the Bronx Knights. They are leading 3-0 here in this best of 7. Swing and a miss by Salazar. Strike 1. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. If the Bronx Knights win today, they win the World Series. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Salazar. And he yanks it down the right field line. Long run, but it will drop into foul territory. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Salazar. Here comes the pitch. Backs him off the plate. The count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch. And that's headed towards the right center field gap. And it will be in there, 1 hop to the wall. Salazar will be at second base. And he will stop there. It is a leadoff double here in the top of the 9th. So they'll have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. If the Rockies want to mount a comeback in the bottom of the 9th to prolong this series and push it to 5 games, they need to keep that insurance run on second base. Next up is Matthew Saps, who has a home run today. He's 1 for 3. Checks his swing, pitches high, ball 1. And he fouls off the slider. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Yanks it foul down the left field line. Counted 1 ball and 2 strikes on Saps. Swing and a miss to the slider. Chase the pitch. And that's the first out here in the top of the 9th. Could not catch up to it. Probably wasn't a strike. Next up is Francisco Lindor, switch hitter, batting from the left side. He's 6 for 16 in this World Series. And he swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Playable for Javier Lopez. Check it, Javier Baez, pardon me. And that's the second out here in the inning. Runner is still at second base. So, the number 8 hitter, catcher Anthony Millo, who's 0 for 3 today, steps up to the plate with a chance to drive in that run and give the Bronx Knights another insurance run. Swings and misses at the first pitch, a slider outside. Count is 0-1. Checks the swing. Count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Salazar leads off second. Fouls it off. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Millo. Lines it, but curling into the seats, out of play. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. It's in the dirt. He's got to throw down to first base. He does so to retire the side. Last licks. 3 more outs. Game 4 of the World Series comes down to this. The Colorado Rockies need 2 runs to tie to prolong it. Otherwise, the Bronx Knights will become World Series champions. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Do you want to change pitchers? Yes, I do. In relief comes the closer, the Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. He's pitched in 8 games in this postseason. He's 1-0. He's saved all 5 of his opportunities. He has not yielded an earned run. He has a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 9th. Stepping up to the plate for the Colorado Rockies is Mookie Betts. He had a solo home run in the 6th inning. He is 1 for 3. The whole stadium is on their feet, waving their towels. Misses outside with the fastball. Ball 1. Time for Smoltz. Oh, yeah. Chases a split finger fastball, fouls it off. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike on Mookie Betts. Fouls it upstairs behind home plate. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. There's 1 away. 2 more outs. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Next up is left-handed hitter Ryan Klesko, the first baseman. He is 0 for 3 today. Here comes the pitch from Smoltz. Strike 1, 99 miles an hour on the radar gun. And it's a line drive slicing out of play for strike 2. Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Okay, let me shut up and focus. All right, an 0-2 count on Klesko. And it is a flare towards right center field. It will drop in there for a base hit. And the tying run will come to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Colorado Rockies. It's a bloop base hit for Ryan Klesko to short left center field. No chance for either the center fielder or the right fielder. Up steps Willie Mays. Willie Mays in his real Major League career hit 660 home runs. A home run here will tie this ball game. He's 1 for 3 today, and the crowd is going wild. Runner leads off first. Here comes the pitch from Smoltz. Grounds it up the first base line. Check that third base line. Strike 1. Strike 2, sliders in there. Fouls it upstairs behind home plate. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes on Willie. Strike 3 called. 2 away here in the bottom of the 9th. 1 out away. The next hitter for the Colorado Rockies represents the final out of the season for the Colorado Rockies, and at the same time, he represents the tying run here in the top of the 9th. Juan Soto is 0 for 3. Here comes the pitch from John Smoltz. Ground ball! Long throw, in time, ball game over. Bronx Knights win. World Series champions. They win the World Series in 4 games here in Colorado. The Bronx Knights are World Series champions. Woo! Woo! This is a created franchise on MLB The Show 20 for PlayStation 4 that started back 6 months ago, and my intention was to play every inning of every game. No skipped innings, no simulated games. Every game, the team started out 2-6, and they proceeded to win 107 games during the regular season, and they became World Series champions here on YouTube. Oh, you can take a breath now. I had to hold my breath for the last 2 innings. I want to say thank you to everyone for showing up, for every game that you showed up for. Special thanks for the Outlander show. Special thanks to Jose Hall. Special thanks to Wicked Quixotic. Your support definitely was there and felt. So the Bronx Knights are the World Series champions here in this final season of MLB The Show 20 for PlayStation 4. Whew. Okay, so who's the MVP of the World Series? Come on, let's tell us. Tell us. Player of the game is Patrick Joseph. Of course, the player of the game is Patrick Joseph, because think about it. Think about it. Patrick Joseph with 13 and 11 during the regular season. His ERA was above 6. This was only his second playoff start of his career on the biggest stage, and he pitched really well. 6 2/3. He only gave up 4 hits, struck out 6, 1 earned run, no walks. He's the winning pitcher. John Gray gets the loss. John Smoltz gets his 6th save of the postseason. Bronx Knights here in Game 4 of the World Series win 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Colorado Rockies 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. So let me exit the postseason, press confirm. I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes, try to cool off, get my heartbeat kind of calm down, lower it a little bit, take some deep breaths, talk about my plans for the channel and for this game. The Knights have won the World Series, okay? All right, so I'm going to go to the loadout screen. I'm going to make my way over to the stats to see awards. Oh, look at this. Playoff MVP, Chris Ramos. Very surprising. I don't know if I agree with that, but hey, listen, I'll take it. He was the American League's most valuable player. He was the batting champion. He had 66 home runs during the regular season. I think it was a team effort, but you know what? If they're going to give him the hardware, he will gladly take it. And again, the World Series MVP is Chris Ramos. I think that some bonus points should have been given to John Smoltz for having 6 saves during the playoffs. I think that Anthony Millo had some key hits from out of nowhere from the number 8 and the number 9 hole in the lineup. But whatever, we'll take it. So American League World's MVP and the most valuable player and postseason MVP. All right, let's get out of this. Let's move over here. All right, so the plan. So for now, the Bronx Knights are going to be on a hiatus, just like in real baseball. I would say that I'm putting them to bed because I'm putting MLB The Show 20 to bed. I currently own a PlayStation 4. I'm on the market for a PlayStation 5, but where I am, it's very difficult to find a PlayStation 5 system. The new version of baseball, MLB The Show 21, is coming out in just a week or two. I'm not going to buy that new version of the game until I can find a PlayStation 5. So the order is going to be put baseball to bed for now. Buy a PlayStation 5. It may be 3 to 6 months from now. It may be 3 to 6 weeks from now. It may be 3 days from now. I have no idea. But the point is, buy a PlayStation 5 first. Then buy the new version of the game, and then resurrect the Bronx Knights in some fashion. Create a new created franchise, create a new batch of faces, including some of these faces and maybe some new faces to update the team. But for now, like real baseball, they're going to take a little bit of a break. It's the off season for the Bronx Knights. Now, here's the deal. If I can't find a PlayStation 5, I'm still going to use my PS4. I'm still going to play other games. And I may still get a little bit of an itch for baseball. I do have another created franchise saved about a month through the season. They've only played in April. They played about 30 games, called the Hollywood Avengers. The deal with that is it's basically, imagine if the actors who play in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, were on like a celebrity baseball team. I created all of the players. Robert Downey Jr., Dave Bautista, Chris Evans, Benedict Cumberbatch, Don Cheadle. They've all been created and they're all on a team called the Hollywood Avengers. if I get bored and I can't get the new version of the game, is it possible that I could throw this game back in there? Sure, I'll do it. You know, but for right now, baseball is going to take a little bit of a break because I just won the World Series. I'm taking a break. I'm putting my feet up and relaxing. My intention is to play SKYRIM, which I already have started. There's a playlist dedicated to the RPG called SKYRIM on this channel. And then I have a choice between a zombie survival horror game called Days Gone or the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have both of those loaded up and ready to go. So I'm going to pick one of those two and dive into it. They're both RPGs in a sense, and continue playing SKYRIM. So that's my plan. So this has been a broadcast, the final broadcast for now of Bronx Knights Baseball. I am RC Robbin. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been one hell of a ride. Ooh, good choices. Well, thank you very much, Wicked Quixotic. I hope to see you there. I have to say that while I'm playing SKYRIM, I have a tendency to not have the text box on. I'm kind of in character as a cat person called the Khajiit. His name is Joe Barra the Khajiit. I expect when I play one of the other two games, either Days Gone or the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm going to have the box on the side with the comments, and you're going to see my ugly face, and we're going to talk to each other while I play those two games. So, again, this has been Bronx Knights Baseball. I am RC Robbin. Bronx Knights are the World Series champions. Thank you so much for joining me. Please watch the Outlander show also on YouTube. They have currently running a Madden franchise, which is a lot of fun. Keep your eye on that. And until next time, take care of yourself and have yourself an absolutely great night.